Welcome to Foodcast. Today we have Stuart from Today We Are Making. Stuart, welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
How you become viral? That's my first question. I want to know.
If I fully understood how, I'd be much better off than I am. I suppose really what happened, I think we hit the sweet spot of the pandemic came along. We launched a TikTok channel of me and my daughter, who was 8 at the time. So a nice, sweet age. She told me she loved me. She'd hold my hand when we'd go somewhere. Ella is now 13 actually, and none of those things are true anymore. We were just really looking, Rick, to do kind of something that would engage and entertain an 8-year-old girl. We were cooking at home anyway all the time, and we'd been cooking together since Ella was 2. And I just think when we put our first TikTok on, a fried egg sandwich, which is horrendous, by the way. If you look at the video, we burned the toast to an absolute crisp. The camera angles, I say, serve with a cup of tea at the end, straight to the camera, all the stuff that you shouldn't do, we did in the first one, but you don't know better. And, we just put it on TikTok, and it got, I think, 10,000 views in the first day. It hit the For You page. And obviously you're very encouraged by that. You get a lot of views. You're like, wow, this worked, so you just do it. And over the course of the lockdown, nearly every video we did very well, but we had a couple of videos like chicken curry, and we're not talking restaurant chicken curry. The chicken curry you make at home every Tuesday or every Wednesday, a midweek dinner. But we were just filming them. That thing got like 250,000 views.
Wow!
It's still one of our most liked, actually, TikToks. It ended up on something like 27,000 likes. Like, if we were on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're struggling to get 50 people to see a video, maybe 100 people. And then you've got this platform over here giving you 250,000 views in a couple of days, 30,000 likes, and an audience that you could only dream of. So once you start getting numbers like that, you post to social media, you go where the numbers are. Once we start seeing that the numbers were there, we just galloped into that gap. So to answer your question, I think we had a mix of, our recipes were very simple. They were home recipes. They were generally a recipe that anybody could do. Because if I can cook them, trust me, anybody can cook them. There's nothing chefy or complicated going on. I think anyway with my cooking, although I do love it. We had the dad-daughter element. We had the family. It was quite wholesome. We got so many messages of selfies of a dad and son, or a mum and a parent and a child cooking one of our recipes in the kitchen. I can't tell you what that meant to us. To
that's
see
great.
That. And we still get regularly. One little story that I liked was there was 2 neighbours who used to have a drink out the back garden over the garden wall.
Yeah.
In the middle of lockdown, so they weren't allowed to be together.
Yeah.
And every night they would have their bottle of wine or whatever, and when they'd go out to the garden, they would say, "Today we are drinking," whatever wine they were drinking or whatever. And little stories were feeding back to us that people were starting to say the catchphrase, well, not the catchphrase, but the name of the channel.
Yes. And
our minds were blown that this was working. So it really did go viral, but how it was just a combination of probably a million things that went for us,
Like normally people would get one video viral and that's it, or 2. But like you guys start to get one after another, and then you got that streak, and then when you go, as you see. Did you expect to grow that fast and this big you are now?
So at the start, no, there was no expectations of growth, because this wasn't a business. This wasn't something we were looking to develop into anything. This was, as I said, just something to keep an 8-year-old who was going through a lockdown. Say we were all going through lockdowns, but like an 8-year-old who was in school every day with hundreds of kids in a schoolyard every morning playing, socializing, would go to friends' houses, parties, and all of a sudden nothing. We had a baby at the time as well, but you don't worry so much about the baby, it's fine. But for Ella, who was incredibly social and has so many friends and loves to go out, we were worried, right, this is going to, we can't just let her be on her iPad all day or watch Netflix all day or telly all day. We have to do something. So they were taking like 4 hours. So I think the reason why we were just posting every day was it wasn't because we were hoping it to become something that came a little bit later, but really it was, how do we keep Ella engaged? So we were taking like 4 hours, 5 hours a day, shooting different angles, messing with the lighting, and really starting to want to get good at it. Now, because in my day job, I'm a marketer, I own a digital marketing agency, I obviously do what I do. When it became something I did then start to shape it. We got a logo, we got a brand, we got a website, we got merchandise, hoodies, we sold loads of hoodies. We got people wearing our t-shirts, our hoodies, and taking selfies with them. We sold cooking aprons. So that's me doing what I do. That's shaping it into something and then growing it. But in that initial phase, I would say the reason why was we posted a video every day of the first lockdown. So that was, I think, 62, 64 days in a row, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Whatever, because we were, you remember, like, McDonald's was closed. Even the big food places were all shut.
Yeah.
So everybody had to cook all their meals all the time. So, some days we would film the breakfast, sometimes we would film the lunch, sometimes we would film the dinner, but one meal of the day was filmed, and then in the evening time we would edit, next morning post. And I definitely think the consistency of it had a lot to do with why we were getting views, because TikTok was watching and understanding what these guys are getting views.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing is working. This system is working. At the time, TikTok was only 59 seconds. You couldn't go more than a minute. Now they've obviously expanded that in recent times. So we had to work really hard to do what, as you understand. I mean, even the chicken curry, as I mentioned, the processes in making that are a lot. So to be able to do all of that and then get it in under the minute, it's difficult.
People don't understand. Like I commented a couple of months ago when I was recording a cooking video. I was making bread.
Okay.
So from scratch.
But everybody was baking sourdough bread.
Yeah, when you're making bread at home, we'll get to at least a couple of hours. And then to have the end product and then edit, pre-editing, after, post-editing, whatever, and compress that in 50 seconds, 60 seconds. Like, people don't understand. When they see something, they consume so quick nowadays. And they look and say, I want more. After 6 seconds, you look and say, that was 8 hours work.
Yeah.
They do not realize that, how much work go behind, but consistency is important.
Oh, in that early stage, it was everything. But like, I know that maybe makes it sound like there was this grand plan of, we got to post every day, like some kind of company. Genuinely, it wasn't that. It didn't start off as that.
Yeah.
It had another motivation, and I feel that came true in the videos, that we weren't just chasing views or we weren't making any. None of the food we made was like a trendy food.
Yeah.
It was the dinners we make.
Yeah.
That were in our rotation. Now we did go to Instagram and say, hey, what would you like us to make? Because we were doing our shopping, and we'd say, well, we could do this. We were starting to shape. I didn't know it at the time, but that was a massive benefit to my own mental health. Like, I was talking that we were doing all this for Ella, but it kept me sane. I didn't know it then, but looking back, we were making notes. We had journals. We were editing notes, and we were taking advice. We were watching YouTube videos for how you should do voiceover. You name it.
Yeah.
We really got into the production level of it, and like I say, at the time it was just something to do. But looking back, I was like, I do not know what I would have done without that time, and spending time with Ella is obviously. That
was a good time to spend with the kids as well.
Yeah, look, I don't want to come on here and say lockdown was amazing. I know it was an awful time for so many people, and so many people who worked in the health service. I do hear stories of just the trauma, and I want to completely sort of acknowledge that was the case. But for me, being so busy, I just started my own company the year before, actually being able to take my foot completely off the pedal and just be home. Now, there's being at home and then there's being present. My wife will consistently tell me that while I'm physically in the house, my brain is thinking about the meeting I have tomorrow and the pitch I have on Thursday, and I'm trying to get this website project over the line, and my brain is thinking about that. But actually, in that first lockdown, Rick, I was able to completely completely just
Rest.
stop.
Yes, that's very good.
And it was and for us in our house with our family, what it did for our family unit was fantastic. It genuinely was.
Like now, something people don't comment much is what comes with that. You put your life out there in the social media. What kind of doors open for you?
Well, you never ever ever know who's watching the content, or like we get analytics from TikTok. You know that the video has 5 shares, 55 shares, 155 shares. Well, you see that number in the bottom, okay? So, and that's a good number, and you have a look at it, but you don't know. This is the thing, you don't know who those 155 shares were. You don't know who within that number saw that video. But it turned out that there was a gentleman called Jerry McBride. He's a very well-known stand-up comedian. Jerry is, by the way, one of the nicest guys on the planet. He's a gentleman. So Jerry was watching, and Jerry has something, a work he's involved in outside of the comedy where he's a writer. And he writes for television and for ads. He's involved in Waterford Whisperers. He's one of the
really?
One of the co-owners of that. So incredibly clever guy, industrious guy. But Jerry is watching these tweets go up every day. That's fine. You don't know that he's watching, but Jerry's sending these videos in to an ad agency who do all the advertisements for Lidl. So all of the supermarkets are scrambling. They can't do their normal production, you know, which is in a big warehouse. Everything's on lockdown. So they were looking for something that was sort of lockdown related, but not. So we started the process of dealing with the ad agency. We submitted like what you'd call auditions. We filmed ourselves talking on camera, sent it in, and then Lidl ended up hiring us to do 3 national commercials. You know the ads, like, you know, the Burks Shop and Save with Lidl, and we had to go through the whole process of shopping every week in Lidl, keeping the receipts and tracking all the numbers, because when they say, so you know it says on the ad, you know, they saved €240 or €2,000. I think they would make that number up, but they really don't. They take a very, very long time to work out exactly to the cent how much is saved, which was a real eye-opener. I suppose they have to do it. I mean, they'll get in trouble if they don't.
Oh, that's great.
Can't just make up a number. But it was very interesting whole process to see behind the scenes. But I think one of the advantages for dealing with us was they came to our house, to our back garden. Everybody was wearing masks at the time and skeleton crew, and they turned our back garden into a studio. Wow. They sent a person around to paint. We got our house painted and our walls were freshly painted. It was great. So we were like, yeah, this is good. Then they delivered this huge big barbecue, and then they delivered all tables and plants, and they left everything there. Our garden looked okay, and then when Lidl were finished, it looked fantastic. We had the best back garden on the street, all the plants, bamboo plants, everything was great. So they came and they shot in our back garden, and they were doing shop and save. But then we started putting up TikToks about barbecue, because I love to barbecue, and they ended up using one of our dishes that we had put out on barbecue as a dish in the ad, Dad's signature steak sandwich. And so they had the barbecue in, and it was great. And the ads, I'll be honest, I only looked at the ads. I have them saved on the computer. I only looked at them, I think, 2 months ago for the first time in a while. And I already know that in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, if I'm lucky to still be here, I know I'm going to cherish those, because Ella is young and she's happy to be in it, and me and her are great on camera. The director of the little ad was saying about Ella, does she do drama or anything? It's no, she doesn't do drama. Because she's really very good. When we tell her to hit a mark, to stop at a certain point, she nails it. If he gives her some direction about, can you say it this way, the very next take she was saying it exactly the way he wanted. She was she's really, technically, she was saying, she's very good. She knows where the camera is. She could turn her body in the right way to be facing the camera. So it was a fantastic experience. But the ads themselves, while they're an advertisement for Lidl, I know, but they're almost like a family album for us.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
My young son is in the video. My wife's in the video. we're all at the table having the dinner.
Yeah.
Now the food on the table looks like it would feed 500 people, and there's just 4 of us. But that's how they do it.
It's odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a memory.
Oh,
Building
brilliant.
a memory, like, it will be forever.
Yeah,
You know, like, instead
exactly.
of having that, like, let's say, bitter memory of the pandemic, actually turning something positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That she will have for life and say, oh, knock the wood, touch the wood.
Yeah.
Like, I wish to have that again. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I
not
know
a
what you
time, it's an opportunity we had, and nobody see like that. I know is a curse in the same time.
Yeah.
But like, social media for you was a bless or a curse?
Oh, for me, it's a blessing. I don't know if blessing is the right word. It's definitely not a curse, because it's how I would make my living.
Yeah.
So, sort of, I have to understand it. I have to be honest. Like, for example, like, Be Real is the new social media platform that all the kids. So it's very clear trend. I mean, the kids go to a new platform first.
Yes.
And as soon as the grown-ups arrive, the kids go, well, we don't want to be here. If the grown-ups are here, we don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And they bounce to the next thing. So Be Real is what my daughter is on. She kind of loves it, and all her friends. And when that daily notification goes off, I've seen her stop in her tracks. Like, because have you got Be Real?
No.
So Be Real is very interesting in that you can only post once a day.
Wow.
And the notification will go off at a certain time of the day that Be Real set, and you have 2 minutes to take your post. And so the name of it, Be Real, is where Instagram, everyone has makeup, hair. Well, we don't have makeup, but not too much. But everything is the perfect life. We're in our best clothes and we take a selfie for Instagram and that, right?
Yeah.
But Be Real is, what are you doing at the minute?
And that's it.
You could be lying in the bed watching Netflix, and it takes a photograph off your back camera, and it takes a photograph off your front camera. So when that notification goes off, I have seen a whole street of people stop to take their Be Real. It's really, really taking off. But I have to go on there, and I have to understand it and see what's the angle for business. Can a company go on? What can a company achieve? It doesn't seem set up for business, so I can't see that like big companies will go on there and do well, because they don't control it. They can only post once a day when the notification goes off. So it's not like you can beat it with loaded content.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one, but
that's new.
It's new
until we understand.
But when you and I join Be Real, the kids will go to whatever
what's next,
the next one, and that whole trend. And if you look at Facebook, I was giving a talk last week to transition year business class in Balmain Educate Together. I'd never done anything like that before. I'm trying to push myself to do new things. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm here. Not uncomfortable, but pushing through. Want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do new things. So last week I had to do a class. 35 16-year-olds, tough room, nice guys, but I was nervous. But I asked them, I was like, who has a Facebook page? Nobody. I thought there'd be 2 or 3. Nobody. Yeah. So that's 16-year-olds. No one's on Facebook. I said, do you have Facebook Messenger even? They're like, no.
What's Facebook?
Yeah, they knew what it was. I said Instagram, and still not everybody had Instagram.
Yeah.
Now, everybody had TikTok.
Yes.
And everybody had Be Real. So I asked about Clubhouse, which was another platform that was audio only. They didn't really take off. They hadn't heard of it. But it shows you where if the 16-year-olds are there, then I think Facebook is over. It's not over today.
Oh yeah, in the long run.
If they're not getting the 16-year-olds to sign up, then obviously their pipeline is going to become quite dry,
Yeah, they will need to buy something else.
Yeah, which is what they'll do,
Oh yes. And question, where is Stella?
So after the little lads, phase 2 of Today We Were Making, I've kind of split Today We Were Making into 3 phases. So phase 1, as you've seen, was Ella and I doing our home cooking and where that took us. Phase 2 was we opened up a food truck. We imported over a United States school bus, yellow bus. We've all seen them on the movies, all seen them on the TVs. They're just like that, except bigger. 50 foot long, 12 foot wide, a big beast of a bus. Broke my heart, it broke my spirit, it broke my wallet. It broke me, and as much as it was difficult, I would probably do it again tomorrow if I had a chance. I explained why. I would stand in my kitchen for 5 hours on a Sunday doing a roast potato, the meat, the gravy, everything as good as I can make it, and love to do it. Have a bottle of red on the go. I'd maybe have some football on the iPad, and the kids and the family would know I'm in the kitchen and I'm happy, and then I'm cooking away. Everything's great. I just thought that passion. Well, if I opened up a food truck, anyone would come to the house for dinner. Go, God, your food is lovely. You're a great cook. And I'm thinking, well, gee, God, I should open up a food truck. And I, sillily thought the passion for food, which the passion hasn't diminished. Like, still, like, just I'm obsessed with food. I thought, we'd open up the food truck. I love to do sandwiches. My favourite thing, I was just saying to you there about do the roast dinner. My favourite thing about doing the roast dinner is on Monday I would make a sandwich with the leftovers.
Yes.
And I had this sandwich where we do a shoulder of lamb, mint and pea puree, and roast potatoes and stuff. But the next day I would do shoulder of lamb, mint and pea puree, and I'd cook some black pudding to put into the sandwich.
Yes.
Bit of cheese, toast up both sides. It's the best thing you're ever going to eat. So I was like, sandwiches. Everyone loves a sandwich. It's versatile. So we would go with that. Long story short, we got the bus open. We had a couple of close encounters with different locations, and they didn't happen at the end. I opened the bus in a location that was very close to my home, so it was convenient. And I think I was blinded by the fact that I had a couple of knockbacks with locations, and I really wanted to get the bus open. At any cost, I just wanted to get it open. So the location that we took, with the menu that we had and the pricing, I didn't have an interest, Rick, in lower quality. Like, for example, we were doing a brisket toasty, but we were braising the brisket in good quality beer, Hope beer. On the bus, we were braising it in the oven, shredding it ourselves. Our ham, we were doing the ham again, low and slow on the bus, shredding it up. We were making the dips,
everything.
I really wanted to do everything from scratch, the best sourdough bread that we could get, all of that. Okay, so ultimately, as you know, you can do that, and then you're going to have to stick a price of €9 on a toasted sandwich,
and that's cheap.
I think
that's cheap.
People on TikTok lost their minds for the price of the sandwiches. Now, I had a decision was I can go and try and defend and explain, hey, look, here's the ecosystem of everything it's taking to get this sandwich to the window. Or I could just let the quality of the food speak for itself. That's what I decided to do. I said, look, anybody who was coming down to try the sandwich, the feedback was fantastic. It was a great sandwich. How could it not be? It had 3 different kinds of cheese, really high quality sourdough, and meat that was low and slow cooked in a beef gravy with beer. I mean, come on. The flavours were through the roof. So, and we did a hot chicken sandwich. Everything. Anyone who was trying it was loving the sandwich, so I knew we have something good. But the pricing, look, the area we were in wanting to sell a premium product, the area didn't want to buy a premium product.
Yeah.
So we had our social media audience coming into the area to support us, but we never got the area.
Yeah, the area is not. If the locals not behind you, you.
We didn't get the locals.
Yeah.
And I understand why. I could have got the locals, I feel, if we had have gone with a different kind of product at a lower price. But I was speaking to the food reps and I was asking them about what would it take to put like a breakfast roll together and it'd be €4 or $4.50. And they were saying, to be honest, the quality of stuff that you're going to have to use there, you don't want.
Rubbish. And then as well,
and I had no interest in rubbish.
And then, like, it would be, certain language, it would be shite. Number one. Number two, your margin of profit will be basically in the cents. You need to sell in the volume to make money. Yeah. Is that how like Centra or Spar, those places do? Yeah. They sell in the bulk. And that's how is the volume will actually make the money for them. Absolutely. Unfortunately. And like, unfortunately, people don't understand that part.
I made a load of mistakes with the bus, but I don't have any regrets over going in wanting to stay with a premium product. And I'm actually quite happy with myself that when faced with the fork in the road of go here and make it cheaper and sell more, I didn't go down that road. Mm-hmm. I could have, no problem. I owned the bus. I could have gone in any direction I wanted.
It's your reputation, end of the day.
I just didn't want to it's because it's the same amount of work. I just had no interest in it, so I was like, no. We ended up leaving the location to go somewhere which was kind of nearer Hout, nearer Sutton, where there's more money, and we thought we could maybe get the locals there on board. Look, in the end, that location, there was issues, but I was kind of happy. In the end, at the start and the time, it's disappointing. But again, like you were saying, looking back at lockdown, it was for the best. It was the right thing. So we had the bus in storage. We call the bus Stella, by the way, because I'm Stuart. My daughter's Ella, ST for Stuart, and Ella, so Stella is where that name came from. Actually, we asked TikTok what we should name the bus, and loads of suggestions. And then when we saw Stella,
that's great.
It's amazing. I like to say I was marketing genius on my part to come up. It was user 1275693 or whatever on TikTok that came up with that one.
And sorry to interrupt you. How hard, like, you come from the marketing business, go to the food business. It's more or less the same joke. They say, how you make a millionaire. You get a billionaire to make a rocket company, and they lose the money and become a millionaire. It's the same with restaurant owners. Everyone come to me and say, oh, I'm thinking to open a restaurant or something. And I say, whoa, hold your horses. Is a beast. A totally different beast. Is very difficult. Variables everywhere. How hard was to set up the business for you?
It was unbelievably difficult. It was unbelievably difficult at every stage. I can honestly tell you, there was not, like, the conversion of the bus was unbelievably difficult and took so long. Finding a location was unbelievably difficult and took so long. Getting the location, getting it open, and getting the staff.
Yeah.
And we had good people who I got on quite well with kind of personally, but there's individual people and then there's building a team.
Yes.
I didn't build a team. I didn't have the experience to build a cohesive unit together. I never got that right. That was unbelievably difficult. Managing people and all of their personal issues and their family issues and not being able to turn up to work for what feels like very frivolous reasons, it was very difficult.
Welcome to the hospitality world.
Dealing and you know, can you tell you something? I haven't talked about food. I've only talked to you about the location and the logistics and the people, and yet we haven't even got to the food. And people think, oh, well, you've got a great idea for a food, it's gonna fly. The food is actually it's important, but it isn't everything. It's really not. Like, you've got this. To have a success, if you stand back and look at some of the really successful restaurants in Dublin that are really busy, people think, oh, the food is lovely, and the food will be lovely in these places. It's not the sole reason these places are busy.
Yes.
There's so many other different factors. It was unbelievably difficult. It was such a challenge. Just a constant. I honestly don't think there was a day where I was driving home going, that was a good day or an easy day. There was always a challenge, a daily challenge, and the resolve you need and the mental strength you need to go through that and succeed. It was, honestly, I didn't face that I didn't come through that very well at the time. It was very, very difficult.
It's difficult for the mind, right?
Unbelievably.
And the red tapes, how you fell with the red tapes in the Irish government to have a small business like yours, to try to succeed, and the tax, and it's not cheap. No. It's not cheap. How hard was that for you?
Yeah, the red tape is very, very difficult. I'm kind of thinking here, like, how hard do I want to go in on, how hard do I want to be on, say, the government? But, like, I run another business outside of the food truck, right?
Yes.
So I've got sort of fairly strong opinions on how difficult the Irish government make it to run any kind of business in Ireland. It's not just a food business. I mean, the higher rate of tax for your own income, and then you do a bit of profit at the end of the year, and they come along and they take a big bite out of that, as well as taking your income tax all through the year. I mean, I feel you're really only working for the government. They're the only true winner in any successful business, and then you're second place in your own business to them. I don't want to come on here and be kind of bitching and moaning,
That's okay.
but it's the red tape around the food industry is horrendous. The environmental health officer, your fire marshal, your pest control, your HACCP. Now listen, they all need to be there.
Yeah, no,
they
100%.
have to be there. And I get the regulations are there for a reason, but that's just an important fact. If someone is kind of thinking about doing it, just maybe.
I think that's the part people take for granted when you go and say, "I need to sell my Sambo for €9." They don't understand all that goes in behind. It's the same as we said earlier. To edit, to make a video of 60 seconds, get 8 hours. You know, and it's perishable.
Yeah.
It's something. If you do not sell, we'll go to the bin and you're gonna have a loss. And that's the part I think is hard for business like that. And which moment, in what moment you realize you had to let Stella go?
Yeah, so towards the end of the bus's tenure, I was, having done it for 8 or 9 months, I was really kind of struggling to keep it all going. So look, for I could sit here and kind of make a million excuses. Oh, if this had happened, if that had happened. There's only one person to blame, that Stella or the Today We Are Making bus isn't still open or didn't become a huge success, and that's me. I owned it. I take 100% blame. I'm not for a moment going to say, oh, well, if I had done this differently, or if oh, it was his fault, oh, it was her fault, oh, it was that guy. It wasn't any of those guys. It was me. Anybody who ever worked on the bus was there because I hired them, so I take 100% responsibility. Any of the food or any of the specials or any of the stuff we tried to do, which was done with the team, I put the team in there. I'm 100% responsible if it goes well or if it goes bad. Right at the very end, I've been running the marketing company alongside running the food truck, so I was running 2 businesses. And trying to have like a family and be a dad, bring Ella to basketball, bring my son to school and creche, whatever, you know, and have family. So, you know, after about 8-9 months of that, we closed down in the Coolock location because we were going to move. But I'll be honest, after 2 days where the bus was in storage and we were gone, I knew I wasn't going to reopen that bus. Now, if I had have got the other location, I would have had a decision to make, but in the end, that decision was made for me, and I was privately very kind of relieved. I knew that I couldn't keep both businesses going and be that something would happen.
Yes.
To me, to my health, at what point down the line you never know, but if I had kept going on that trajectory, it wouldn't have worked well. Oh
no, yeah, hospitality business is not forgiving. Yeah. You know, like get on you and get hard. So I have a thing like I don't understand. I didn't understand. So I work in the motor trade since I'm 21, until I'm 37 when I started the marketing company. And the motor trade was the only industry I was in. So it's a completely different industry to hospitality. Okay, now it's customer facing, but it's totally different. But when I come into the hospitality industry and I'm watching, I kind of feel the hospitality industry does a lot of damage to itself. If I can explain that, like the pressure of not the quality, but the pressure of how quick some food needs to be made, or people are standing at the window. Oh, there's a queue. Everyone has to hurry, and then everyone gets frantic, and like I don't think people genuinely are ever in that much of a hurry. People who are in that much of a hurry will go get a chicken fillet roll from, like you say, a convenience store, and go to McDonald's.
They'll have that drive-through. 5 minutes, you'll be eating a burger. If you're in a hurry, I know that might sound a bit difficult. That was the one thing from coming from with fresh eyes in my late 30s, so experienced, and watching how people would how the barista would react to a big queue and go all, oh no, God, big queue, and then like spilling things and making mistakes. I was like, wow, it's okay. You can just explain to people, it'll take an extra couple of minutes, but the hospital, and then I've seen that in other restaurants. In the hospitality industry, when a place gets busy, they go crazy. Now, I was recently in New York. We went to breakfast in the Clinton Street Baking Company.
Yeah.
It's in a It's on Houston Street. It's near Cacs Deli. Loads of people had recommended. My good friend Damien had recommended to go. Just wanted to say hello to Damien. He's a good buddy of mine. We go on food trips. He went to Cork with me. We talk about food all the time. He's a great chef, great home cook. He's brilliant at baking. I can't do baking. He does all the baking. Anyway, he said I had to go to Clinton Street. So we're queuing up outside, okay? It opens at 9. There's a line around the whole store.
Yes.
For a 9 o'clock opening. Open the door. Anybody got reservations? Yeah, 2 or 3 people had reservations. They come to the front of the queue. They get seated. Once the reservations are looked after, they open the door, and then it's very much sort of you're greeted at the door, and then you're shown to your table. Fine. By 9:06, every table full.
Wow.
Now, if you're in the kitchen in Ireland, and the place goes from 0 to 100 miles an hour like that, I know in an Irish kitchen, meltdown is about to take place. You're going to hear people shouting. You're going to hear people screaming. This kitchen had 3 people on one counter for a full dining room. Nobody even looked at each other. Just set up for pure volume.
Yeah. Well, oil machine.
Absolutely. Now, I got talking to the owner. The one guy was 22 years there. Another guy was 18 years there. Another guy was 8 years there. Like, 8 years is like, feels like he's the new guy. He's 8 years doing that job. And I just watched, and these guys just... Like,
it's like a dance.
It was fantastic to see.
Yeah.
And they were just... Now, look, we don't have the population that New York has, obviously, and they do this every day. So, you know, it was just... Every dish was out. When the guy looked down and seen our plates, we weren't eating, goes, "Are you guys finished?" We said, "Yes." So we stacked up the plates, and he picked up the plates, and he turned right. And as he turned right, another guy came in on the left and put the bill down on the seat. Very much like...
Yeah.
So at 9:37, we were outside on the
Wow.
street. And we had eaten. We weren't rushed off the table.
Yes.
French toast, chicken and waffles, coffee, or everything we wanted. 9:37, we were out on the street going,
wow.
Okay, we've had breakfast. Now, I know maybe it's unfair, Rick, to kind of compare a New York and a famous, busy New York place, but I don't know many places in Dublin or Ireland that are set up to handle volume or handle an empty dining room to a full dining room like that, and it not be a complete meltdown,
Look, I have my opinion. I say that off camera. Or it would be here half an hour, I would be explaining all that. Yeah. But like, I totally understand the mentality in New York.
If I hadn't have run the bus, I would have no idea. I have now even the fact that I'm aware of that comes from opening the bus. I have an appreciation for, I look at the plate of food as if, first of all, like everyone does, oh, it looks great. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. A lovely steak comes down. Oh, lovely. And so you eat with your eyes, like they say. But then my brain is sort of like, God, that's good. How they've done. That's impressive. From a not a presentation side, but relative to how much it is, or the cut of meat. Oh, they've got a good meat supplier, or look the way. It's from the business side.
You can see from the back side.
Yeah,
now.
the ecosystem, everything involved. Like we were selling a grilled cheese sandwich on the bus, okay, with just 2 slices of bread, 3 kinds of cheese, toast it and out the window. And people think, how easy is that? Grilled cheese sandwich, easiest thing in the world. That grilled cheese sandwich had a baker to deal with to get the bread, a different food rep to buy the cheese. It had to be grilled by the chef, chopped up by the barista, wrapped by the barista, and then served out the window. Like, there's 7 pairs of hands to make a grilled cheese sandwich.
You didn't even mention the meat.
Yeah, well, the meat is all other things.
At least 8 to... How many hours you used to braise?
Yeah, it was usually an 8-hour braise, yeah.
And then, like, sometimes who start? 1, somebody took that to the door.
Yeah.
2, somebody prepped and put it there. And then sometimes, let's say, Ricardo put the meat there, start to braise, finish my shift, Stuart took
someone else shred
it, and then Ella went there to finish off the sandwich. So pass through 4 or 5 hands before even get to the dish.
So I see that now. That's the biggest appreciation I've taken away from the bus is the absolute... I call it an ecosystem, which I think ecosystem is a good description. It's what it is. There is a complete thing around.
Yes, it's a teamwork.
The most simplest of the simple starter that might come out, or a grilled cheese sandwich. Like I said, it hasn't just been one person decides to make a grilled cheese sandwich. It's not that. It's everybody around it, and I think that's the best thing that I said. Like I say, when I'm sitting in the Clinton Street Baking Company, I'm aware of, wow, this place has gone from empty to full in 6 minutes. this kitchen is going to have tickets swamp in on them.
And those
now.
guys didn't break a sweat.
They didn't even look at each other. They didn't talk to each other. There was no like even 2 minutes on the, it was just plate, and then should they have servers over in the States, so the person who brings you to the table, you don't see them again. The person takes your order, they don't bring you the food. So they do go about the hospitality industry a bit different over there. There may be more positions, more staff, which I think we could definitely learn from, but I understand it's hard to get staff at the moment.
No, his mentality, the American mentality I love. I work for American companies.
Yeah.
The way they see in the floor, exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Like something in the places I worked before. Example here, I was talking that with Noel from the Irish Wine Review. Here in Ireland, you don't have sommeliers.
No.
Like normally... The person
like an in-house.
Yes.
Normally,
I know you have a rotation of people, but like if you invest that, let's say your assistant manager, he'll be there every day. So the person greet you in the door. That the sole purpose of that person is cleaning tables, set up tables. Sorry, not cleaning. Set up tables and bring people to the table.
Yeah.
Other person will be your CA or assistant. That will be cleaning the table and bringing whatever, running food, doing basically everything.
Yes. Water.
Your waiter, the solo job is getting orders and checking on people. And then you're missing one person there that people do not think, and that's what I said about system manager. If you get that person just to get orders for drinks and know about the drinks, and that's where is the money. You know yourself. Like you go to your table, I get your order, or actually somebody somebody will come afterwards and to get the order drinks and sell that on you, because the food is the one you make the least money. And like there's no rotation, there is no it's not a dance. It's like people running like headless chicken. It's the same in the kitchen nowadays.
Another thing, it's another thing that I've noticed in restaurants as well is that the back of house and the front of house almost feel like they're enemies. And there's like, if a waiter forgets to put in an order and has to go to the kitchen to get the kitchen to bail them out, it's this big. You're a chef now. You're going to get all defensive, but like these, you got to work together. You don't work apart. And I've seen places that have a back of house, front of house rivalry. Not rivalry, but it's. They maybe don't understand, like you say, it's one team, one goal, as you say.
The majority of the people, they see we and them. They don't see us and them. They don't see as we. Like when you get in a restaurant, it's egos. People work in that industry. There's too much egos. So you get in the kitchen, you see a guy start yesterday and he thinks Gordon Ramsay. Like, come on, man. And then you get a waiter that thinks he's above you because he serves people, whatever. I don't give a shit. But that's what happened. And then it start to clash. And I see so many chefs, head chefs. They go there and say, I'm the head chef. You need to listen to what I say. Man, it's not a listen to what you say. Sometimes you have a kid, 17 years old, just start yesterday. Oh, he's here 6 months, but he's 17. Give him a chance. Oh, he made mistakes. Everyone make mistakes. Happens. If that happens, how many times I did mistakes or those guys made mistake and those guys go and say, oh, chef, you sent the steak wrong. Like, sorry, happened. I learned. Let's see what we can do to improve. Keep those complaints in your back pocket. In the end of the day, you go and talk to people. That's what I do. And that's what chefs or front of house, they do not realize. And like in the places, as you comment from US, those guys, you will not see them arguing. If there's some shit going on, they'll just fix the problem. In the end of the day, they'll say, what the fuck, Stuart? What happened today? Are you okay today? And that's something people do not talk. And like one come from above, from the corporative, where they want to see the fine line, the money. They don't give a shit what they will do with people. And that's really poor, I have to say, from the mentality now in Ireland. As I said, I had an opinion.
It's an industry that does itself no favors.
Yes,
it does not help itself at all. It doesn't.
No,
I can see that now. That it's honestly, it doesn't do itself any favors.
And you commented before you shifting your company for the food industry because that's where you're passionate. You're like in my opinion, you're a professional home cook. And as well, you open your business. Like you become a chef.
Yeah.
You know how the things, and you're very good in your passion.
Yeah.
Part of your passion is food. So you combine them. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so my marketing company, like, we were doing everything for all companies. So if anybody needed some graphic design work, a leaflet design, a website, or online ad campaigns, we would do it for all businesses, and still will do it for all businesses. But like, we would build websites for a dentist, we would do Google ads for a building company, we would help car part companies with their in-house posters on the walls. So you name it, we would do it. So after the bus was gone, bus was sold, I was left with a TikTok channel that had, at the time, 35,000 followers. Ella didn't really want to do any cooking videos anymore. Phase 2 of Today We're Making was all about marketing the bus and making TikToks. Now, what started to happen when I was marketing the bus every day, I was putting out TikToks. I would buy a new phone that would come out with the best quality camera, so our stuff would always look at the best it could.
Yes.
Make the food look good on camera. I'm able to make food look good using a smartphone camera. I understand lighting. I've always had an interest in that. And I've studied marketing and own a marketing company, so I know how to, like, for example, we built up that the bus was going to have a location, and we opened the bus and didn't announce the location for 6 weeks. We were open for 6 weeks, and nobody knew. And then but I had the address on our website, I had the address on our Google profile, I had the address on our Instagram bio, but I was always saying in videos, now if you know where we are, we're open at 8 o'clock, come down. And people were going mad, just tell us where you are, we need to know. And I would never address it that if they looked on the website. And so people had this sense of accomplishment. If they went onto the website and saw the address, they feel like they discovered this for themselves and they remembered the address. That was just a classic marketing tactic.
That's great.
So I announced so we did a whole soft launch for a month, and we got everybody comfortable, we understood what we were doing, and then we launched. We finally launched. We did a promo video with a drone showing where we were located.
I love that video.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
All of this was months, a proper marketing campaign of a build-up, which is what I can do. It's my job. So I was able to give that a little bit more polish than some other new food business that opens where there's no marketing professional involved in it. So I felt we had a bit of an edge there. Not for it did us any good ultimately, but we got a lot of comments. It did me very good, because what started to happen very quickly when the bus was opened, I started getting a lot of calls from restaurants and cafes. Hey, can you help us with this?
Yeah.
Can you photograph our food? Can you show us how to make these TikToks? So over the course of the 9 months the bus was opened, my client list went from saying 50-50 food and everybody else to about 85-15 food clients to everybody else.
Yeah.
And that wasn't with me chasing or doing any ads, but marketing the bus. People in the industry were watching what I was doing.
Yeah, organically start to happen.
Organically. We were getting good views on TikToks. Like, our hot chocolate TikTok got 250,000 views.
Wow.
But nobody knew where we were. People were dying to know where we were. Just built up a little bit of interest into what the location was.
Yeah.
And if someone happened to be driving along the road and saw the bus, they immediately came in and we at the window going, I can't believe I found you. I know where you are now. So I knew it was working.
Yes.
So then when the bus was closed and I was back to doing the marketing kind of full time, I was looking at what I was left with. So I had a TikTok account where I had food credentials. I was on the cooking side and on the business side.
Yes.
I had a lot of followers. Well, I know there's people out there with hundreds of thousands of followers, but for me, I feel 35,000 on a social profile is fantastic.
It is.
I'm at 40 now, which is great. On TikTok, we've something like 15,000 on Instagram. And to me, I was like, I've got the social media, I've got experience of running a food business, and I've got the marketing company. I had to figure out a way to kind of bring it all together. So what I've decided to do, what I've been working on the last kind of 6 weeks, maybe longer, is rebranding the marketing company, which was called SPB Media. And I'd like to announce today a world exclusive. Nobody knows the new name. So the marketing company is now going to be called The Lemonade Stand.
Oh, nice.
The Lemonade Stand. And where that came from is sort of at its most core, the Lemonade Stand is usually the first little dance with entrepreneurial, it's sugar, water, lemon, you sell it, you build your counter, that's your sales, you put your sign in front, that's your marketing.
Yeah.
At its core level, the lemonade stand is where it starts. It starts with the lemonade stand.
Yes.
The biggest restaurateur in the world, he probably had a lemonade stand when he was a kid, and he didn't let it go. He or she, as a child, they tried it out. And when I was at that talk, the 16-year-olds, I asked, hey, did anyone ever run a lemonade stand? And a few of the kids went, yeah, I did. And I said, well, so did I. So the lemonade stand is what it's going to be called. We're going to be looking after... if you're in the food business, if you do cafes, restaurants, food trucks, or big companies who are producing food that goes on the shelves of supermarkets, we are going to be actively looking after that kind of client. Now, if another dentist wants a website, no problem. If another builder wants some Google Ads run, you got it, we're your guys. But in terms of what I'm doing with the food reviews now on TikTok, all of this is to become a hospitality marketing specialist, and to become, I put my face in the videos, not because I think I'm good looking, or, trust me, it's the opposite, but here's what I'm trying to do in a nutshell. You will get them too. You get 50 emails a day that say, we can help you with your SEO, we can rank you number 1 on Google, and what do? You can delete that email without even reading it. But if I put up a food review of your restaurant and I tag the restaurant, not only will you see it, you'll probably get a call in the middle of the day and say, hey, a food TikToker with 40,000 has just been in and just put up a video of the place. You own it, you're going to watch that video. You're going to watch it immediately.
Yes.
And then you're going to see what this looks like. And if in a week or a month or a year I roll through the door to talk about your website or your SEO or any of the marketing services you need, they're going to know your face. That is so powerful in sales.
Oh, yes.
If they feel they know you, even if you don't know them, never met them, and they feel the ice is broken, it's so much easier to do business.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, that's why I'm linking the food business back over to the marketing. And you're right, the passion is there. I can go into a restaurant and talk to the chef, have an hour conversation about food, no problem. I can talk to the waiter. I can have an hour-long conversation about front of house and how they do their team, no problem. I can talk to a barista. I can talk to the owner. And I've got some experience of owning the truck. And as much as the TikTok comment section loves to tell me I'm an absolute failure, I don't trust me, they do. I'm sure we'll get on everywhere. To that. They like to tell me how much I failed. What I'm finding now is, as I talk to restaurant owners and I talk to chefs, they've actually got more respect that I gave it a go. And I can say, I understand how hard it is. They like to hear it because they're fighting that fight every day, every single day. And when a guy comes along and says, hey, I know how hard it is, and they can see online that I was running the bus, it's getting me a lot more sort of respect from the industry that they gave it a go. Because I've been finding that even guys who own really successful places, they have opened and closed loads of restaurants.
Oh, yes.
It didn't work first time, second time, seventh time, but they stuck at it and found a formula that worked and took off, and that's great and fair play to them. But hardly anybody's first attempt worked and took off.
Oh yes, definitely. And what's next for the page?
So I really enjoy creating content, Rick. So I'm loving doing the food reviews and the coffee reviews.
Yes.
I'm going to commit to doing, I've committed in my head to doing a year of posting some kind of review every day for a year. Whether that's just a cup of coffee, whether it's a dish. I'm going to travel away once a month. I'm just back from Glasgow this weekend. I'm going to be posting a video I did of a kebab place. It's going to probably get the highest score I've ever given. They won Kebab House of the Year 2 years in a row in Scotland.
Wow.
Make everything fresh. Everything fresh. They have the spits of the chicken and the lamb. Phenomenal. But it's underneath a railway bridge at the back end of the city. We went there at 11 in the morning to shoot the video. There's a queue on the street. 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There was a queue. We went there on Saturday after we had a couple of drinks. A few drinks. A lot, the whole day of drinks. And the queue was on the path. So we said, we'll come back tomorrow because there'll be no queue. We get there on Sunday morning. There's a queue.
Are you kidding me? Are you guys from last night?
Yeah. They recognized us. But I love shooting the TikToks. I love doing the reviews. And here's ultimately what I'm trying to do. I want to champion the hospitality industry. If there's a place that are making everything, look, there's places there that buy in the sauces, buy in the, and listen, if that's their business, fair play, keep going, that's great. But if there's a place there putting forward the effort of scratch making everything and really busting themselves to do it, if I can go in, shoot a video, and bring one customer through the door that never heard of them, and say, hey, I saw today we were making video. He did a video on your pancakes. Can I have those? Then that's a win. But thankfully, since I've only been doing the reviews for 6 weeks, we're getting messages from places saying loads of people are coming in. It's working. Basically, even though I've only started, it's doing the job. People are going through the doors. There's a place in Artane called Ultimate Coffee, and there's a really weird thing happening, is that all of the people who are going in are from Artane and didn't know it was there. So we're not bringing people all the way from Mullingar or all the way up from Wexford to these places. They're living around the corner and just don't know it's there. And that's the best one, because they're a local customer. They can become a regular. They could come in 2-3 times a week for a coffee. Yeah. Maybe they get a croissant with it. Maybe they get a sandwich with it one day. And you've added a lifetime customer to a business. Like, that's powerful. So that's where I want to go with it. And also on the same time, on the same track, if any one of those businesses wants some help with creating content, making their food look good on camera, even how to put a TikTok together to make it make it look good, to make it work, we offer those services as well. So they're the 2 tracks that we have running at the moment.
Stuart, it was great to have you in.
I hope I didn't talk too long. I felt like I was talking way too long.
Should it be longer, to be honest?
Okay.
There's so much stories, so many things. Yeah. It's great. It's great. No, thank you very much for our sponsor today. Sponsor is Foodcast. Do you want to promote your brand or product in an effective way, direct to our public? Check our website, social media, and all products and services we provide. Contact us for more information. This is Foodcast, where you promote your brand and more. Stuart, how we can reach out to you?
Yep, so we are at Today We Are Making on TikTok and Twitter. It's at the number 2 Day We Are Making, and then on Instagram we are at Today We Are Making, spelt the normal way. So our DMs are always open. If anyone's looking to do a collaboration, anyone wants us to come in and do a review, we'll travel anywhere in the world. We are going to go once a month. We'll be away. I'll go anywhere in Ireland. So we want to work with us or want us to do a review. We think we can help your business. Get in touch. We'd love to meet you.
That's great. Thank you very much to listen or watching Foodcast. This is Foodcast, where you watch your podcast and more.